Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So performance-wise, both the iPad Air 5 and the M1 iPad Pro have the same power. I haven't noticed any difference between both of them when it comes to how these iPads work, including handling day-to-day apps, photo editing, video export times, playing games, etc. So this video, instead of comparing it in the traditional way, I want to cover what you will miss out if you go for the iPad Air 5 instead of the iPad Pro. You can then decide yourself if these missing features are worth the extra $200 or £180 here in the UK, which the iPad Pro demands. So let's get started. Starting right off with extra storage. This is something which adds value right away. On the iPad Air 5, you get a base storage of 64 gigs, and on the Pro, you get a decent 128 gigabytes of storage. Now, these are the base versions which I'm comparing, guys. You can opt for higher storage options, but yeah, let's look at the base models in this video. So 128 gigabytes is really a decent storage option, and you can be much more relaxed about what you're storing on this iPad, especially considering that iPadOS takes about 8 to 10 gigs, so you already lose that amount out of the box. And with HD movies and games pushing the north of 10 gigs, the 64 gigs of the iPad Air will soon fill up. However, if you're using streaming services for movies, do not store too many games at the same time, and use cloud for storing your personal pictures and videos, then you can work with the 64 gigs of the Air 5. Next has to be ProMotion. I know a lot of people say if you haven't used it, you won't miss it. Well, that is true, but in 2022, I personally feel that all screens should have higher refresh rates, as it makes for such a decent experience when navigating or using your iPad. Sub $300 phones are having higher refresh rate screens, so it would be great if we can see this on the iPad Air as well. And for me, using both these iPads back to back, I can certainly tell the difference, even though the camera cannot capture it. On a related note, let's look at the Apple Pencil experience. Both these iPads support the excellent Apple Pencil Gen 2, and both of them handle it very smoothly. But if you're an artist, or if you use the iPad for pro editing or digital art, you can certainly benefit from higher refresh rate, which the Pro offers. Next is colors. The iPad Air 5 color palette is much more colorful than the iPad Pro. So you do get space gray, starlight, pink, purple, and a new blue shade, which I have here, as opposed to just the space gray and silver on the iPad Pro. Next, speakers test. On the Air 5, you get dual stereo speaker setup. So there are 2 speakers on either side, even though the iPad has got 4 speaker grills. On the Pro, you have proper 4 stereo speaker setup. Let's test out this sound quality. I'd say that even with dual speaker setup on the Air 5, it does sound pretty decent, but is much richer and bassier on the Pro. Next, authentication systems. Now, we get power button Touch ID on the Air 5 versus the Face ID system on the Pro. Both are amazing authentication systems and set the gold standard in the industry, but personally, do I feel one is better than the other? Well, I'm a bit on the fence when it comes to choosing the superior one between these 2 amazing systems. Face ID is excellent, but every time you need to bring your face into view and not cover the cameras, which is quite easy to do when you are picking up the iPad with your hands. And when it comes to Face ID, it is brilliant as well, but the button is small compared to the circular home button Touch ID, which felt much more precise. So both are equally good, but have their own little quirks. Next, the port. On the Air 5, you have a faster USB-C port compared to the previous gen iPad Air, but on the Pro, you get Thunderbolt port. So besides USB-C, you can also use all your Thunderbolt drives. perfect if you're a digital creator and need faster transfer speeds. Next, let's talk cameras. On the Pro, you get dual camera setup with Lidar scanner and True Tone flash. You get 12 million pixels wide angle camera with a 10 million pixels ultra wide camera, whereas on the Air 5, you get the standard 12 million pixels wide angle camera with no flash. Both support 4K video recording up to 60 FPS. Front cameras on both are 12 million pixels with center stage functionality, but the iPad Pro gets screwed up sensors with Face ID system, so it allows you to use this and emojis. And yes, you can use Apple Clips app only on the Pro or iPhones with Lidar scanners. It doesn't work on the Air 5. And staying on the Lidar scanner, I found that you get slightly better accuracy with the Pro than the Air. But given the apps and games currently available, which makes use of this Lidar scanner, you don't see a substantial difference. Next, the screen brightness. You get a slightly brighter screen with the Pro at 600 nits compared to the Air 5 at 500 nits. Today is particularly a bright day here, so it is difficult to use either of these iPads under direct sunlight. So if you're in the gorgeous, sunny, bright holiday, then I suggest you head over to the shade of an umbrella in order to comfortably use these iPads. Staying on the screen, you get 11 inches on the Pro against 10.9 inches on the Air 5. I really don't see a point on what Apple could save with that 0.1 inch screen real estate, but it works towards your advantage on the Air 5 as you get slightly thicker bezels, which means it makes it easier to hold the iPad without touching the screen. Finally, a bigger 12.9 inch display is offered only on the Pro, but that makes the price difference between these both iPads even bigger. And in my personal experience with the bigger sized iPad Pro, I felt it was more suitable to the desk rather than being portable. So that completes the things which you miss if you opt for the iPad Air 5 instead of the iPad Pro. See, the biggest compromise which you have to make if you get the Air 5 are on the storage and the promotion display. Rest of the points I feel are more of a convenience than anything else. You can judge it yourself and then decide if these other points add value to your iPad usage experience. So in summary, the iPad Air 5 gives you an excellent iPad for that mid-range price. And with the inclusion of the M1 processor and 8 gigs of RAM, same as what is on the iPad Pro, you get an amazing, powerful and totally future-proof iPad if you opt for this iPad Air 5. And then the Pro, well, without doubt, it is not only the best iPad there is, but also the best tablet money can buy. With its excellent ProMotion display and the powerful M1 processor, it will last you for years to come. So that's all for the video, guys. I hope you liked it and found it useful. If you did, please hit that like button down below. And whilst you're there, the subscribe button is just a few pixels away. Please hit that, support my channel so I can keep making these videos for you guys. I have a lot more interesting gadgets and reviews coming up your way. I'm currently on holiday. That's why I couldn't post all of these in time. So all of that is coming your way. Please stay tuned. And as always, thanks a lot for staying with me until the end. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.